Kit is. And I brought back my old partner and I said, geez, you know, Kit Carson has given us this opportunity to do one of his designs, and I was so excited, but we didn't know what to do with it. It was clearly not something we could do a good job for. So we didn't know how to say no thanks because it was Kit Carson. A couple of years later, we were wandering through a guild show and looked on the corner of the table and there was his M16, and I thought, man, that is just too good to not try one more time to see if we could put something together. You know what, that's the bread and butter for Columbia River Knife and Tool, one of many. And that's just a little bit of a snippet of the kind of guy that Kit Carson is. So that's just a small one of my experiences with it.
Kit was, common man that did uncommonly amazing things, humanly and artistically. This is the big dog. So Kit, he was already a legend when we started back in the mid-90s.
Hi, my name's Kit Carson. I'm a retired professional soldier. I retired in 1993.
He's an old Army guy, an old tanker, he called himself.
I'll show you some of the ones that we designed for the desert, the SF versions.
So yeah, it certainly had a huge influence on his design.
Rod would get excited about things that really caught his attention. With respect to the M16, Rod came home from a blade show and he was pretty excited.
At a blade show in 1999, I believe it was.
I do remember that, and he talked about a flipper that he had never seen before in action.
The Carson flipper enables a smooth, fast, one-handed deployment, and the dual hilt acts as a blade guard.
And a man in particular that he thought was very charismatic. He was sincere. He was the real deal.
I picked him up, I looked him over. I probably literally ran back to the booth and told my partner, damn it, man, you gotta go look at these. These are just too good not to do. They're just phenomenal.
The M16 12Z designed by Kit Carson has a high carbon stainless steel blade with a non-reflective bead blast finish.
Kit was retired from the Army, but he made tools for the men that he worked with.
Yeah, I think initially most of Kit's design came from his time in the military. He was a career master sergeant. And he'd get frustrated because he'd lose a soldier because they'd take a knife. They'd take the knife and they'd jam it in the end of a 50-gallon barrel or a big can of oil, not a 50-gallon barrel, but a big can of oil. And they'd get their hands greasy, and that's the reason that flipper showed up. It was a break. And that on that big heavy blade works so well to deploy it. But yeah, the form and function definitely came from his military background.
The M16 Titanium series are premium quality knives engineered to the highest standards.
The KISS knife launched us, but the M16 built us. It just had so many possibilities and so many ways we could go. And I think that's probably what Rod was seeing when he saw that knife, is that that knife could be used by anybody for anything.
And there was, I mentioned earlier, form and function. That's what Kit's line was. Well, Rod, you know, it's just all about form and function. But it really meant something to him, and it translated nicely into the M16s, I thought. It's the lifeblood of the CRKT. The M16 lives and breathes and continues to be a rock star in the building and outside of the building.